So quite a few of my guitar builds have had, let's say, non-standard wiring. So it's important for me that I sketch out what I'm planning to do for all the components that are involved. Now there is a problem with this. Despite all of the research, you can still make mistakes in your drawings, and then you add in the different wire colours that pickup manufacturers have, and you've got a whole nother level of complexity. Now of course you can go to a website like Seymour Duncan or Guitar Electronics and look at the wide range of guitar wiring diagrams that they've already got. And most of the time this is exactly what you need. But often there's one or two little things that you want to change, and that's where you've got to do it yourself. So I've realised after discovering DIY Layout Creator a few weeks ago that this is going to be a real game changer for me. So let's have a look and get stuck into it. Okay, so there seems to be a few places where you can download this from, so a few different links, but this is probably the best one and this is the way that I found it. And as we can see here, it's a freeware drawing tool that has sort of been developed by quite a few different DIY electronics enthusiasts. Now it seemed to be initially developed for circuit diagrams and circuit boards such as guitar effects pedals or guitar amps, but there is a section for guitar wiring diagrams, which is obviously what I'm interested in. So to download it first, there's a link just here, download page, and then the files that you can download to get it up and running. Now I've obviously got this installed on my computer already, so let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so we've got the menu on the left hand side there, which is pretty self-explanatory. There is a favorites folder, which I've already put all of the guitar components in that I'm likely to use. But if we have a quick look down, we can have a look at boards first. Now these are obviously for people who are making circuit boards, so we've got a range there to choose from. The connectivity section, so there's a few things in here that I've used for the guitar wiring, so hookup wire jumpers. There's the twisted leads, I haven't used that, but you know, solder lugs if you want them. If we go down to the electromechanical, quite a few guitar things here, so the jacks, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch jacks as well. Down the bottom here we've got, where is it, rotary switches, so if you want to use rotary switches, they're in this section here. So obviously the main one for guitar wiring is the guitar section. In here you have the range of pickups that they've put in already, and some of the different switches. Now whenever we see the +2 or the +4 next to it, if we right click on that, it then gives us some options for different pickups that we can use. So same for lever switches. If I right click on that one, we can have a standard Strat switch or a super switch. When you actually put it in the build area, it actually gives you a few more options for these ones. Since this program is basically designed by or contributed to by a number of people, there are a few little bugs and a few things that are a little bit different sort of when you go to use something, but all in all, it's really user friendly to use. And single coils as well, let's just right click on that. We've got all of the different single coils there. Often it's just the appearance that is different, but we'll kind of see that in action in a little moment. So the miscellaneous section, we've got some different labels. You can do a bill of materials, so it kind of counts the different components that you've got and kind of creates that order list for you at the end. We've got some, you know, dials, images you can put in. A tape measure, I put that in my favorites just to see how much room a particular circuit might take up. The passive components, so capacitors and potentiometers. So if we right click on this one, we can do the two sides of 16mm and 25mm. Resistors as well might be useful for guitar diagrams. So that's basically how the menu works. I'll just open up the favorites. So this has got all of the components that I've sort of used and played around with so far. And the program pretty much is click and drag. So let's put in our first components and get started. So let's start with something really simple, a single coil pickup straight to a jack. So we'll click on the pickup, which brings it in. And let's find our jack. So the open 1/4 inch jack, we'll bring that in as well. Now if we want to do the hookup wire, there's two ways we can do it. You can click on the hookup wire and click on the eyelets to connect one end and then drag the other end to the jack like that. But let's just delete that out at the moment, because if you right click on the pickup, you can go down the bottom and add flexible leads, and it automatically adds the two leads for you. Now, that's particularly useful on humbuckers where you've got 4 leads. It just saves you a bit of time. And if we click on the pickup and then sort of move that around, the wires stay in place because they're obviously connected, and we need to connect the other end. So let's click on one of these to highlight it. We'll move the end to the jack, click on the other lead, move the other end to the ground, and we can then use these little nodes, I suppose we call them, just to move the wires around to make it neat if we kind of want to make it visually appealing and not too confusing. So there we are, a very basic circuit for a single coil pickup straight to a jack. And what we can do is change the color of the leads. Now, most of you would be aware that different pickup manufacturers use different colors. So if we double click on that one, we can change it to any color we like. So let's just go black for that one. Click off it, and let's make this one white, which is probably a little bit more standard. And okay. And the good thing about this, which has a benefit over a hand-drawn diagram, is that these leads are sort of crossing over at the moment, but if you're hand drawing that, it can get messy really quickly. Now we can click on any of these components and move it around anywhere. Since it's all connected, it stays connected, so you can really make your diagram as neat and tidy as you like. Okay, so next up we might put a switch in. So we'll delete this and start again. All right, we'll leave the jack in, and let's put in some P90s this time. Okay, so we've got our 2 P90s. We'll move the jack over here. We'll put our switch in. So let's just put a Les Paul toggle switch in. We'll right click to connect our leads or add flexible leads. Okay, now we can connect everything up. So let's move these around a little bit. All right, so let's assume that this top pickup is, that's the bridge pickup. It won't really matter. We'll just move that one out of the way first. Okay, so we'll connect that one to there. That one to there. Oops. Move that right out of the way. Where are we going to move that one to ground? I haven't got a pot in, so we can't put it on the back of that. So let's see if this one works, and we'll see how it can get messy really quick with lines and leads going over each other, which is the benefit of this program, that we can change and move things as we want later on. Okay, so ground. We'll move that a bit out of the way, and we'll go to hook up wire. Connect the output, and ground here to there, and we've got our circuit. Now obviously we can go and change those lead colors as well, just to make it a bit more obvious what's going on. Okay, so one of the benefits of this program is it can analyze a circuit for us and tell us what pickups are active in the different switch positions, which obviously you can't do that on a hand-drawn diagram. So if we go up to File and Analyze Guitar Diagrams, this is what it brings up if we've got a complete circuit. Now, if there is a problem with our circuit, an error message comes up and tells you what the problem is. So we've got 3 sections for our 3 different switch positions. It's telling us that in the middle position, we have pickup 1 and pickup 2 are both engaged and they're wired in parallel. the pickup coils are wide in phase, and it's not hum cancelling. We'll look at that in a minute. In the rhythm position, it's saying that pickup 2 is the only pickup engaged and not hum cancelling. And in the treble position, so the other way, pickup 1 is engaged, and it's saying it's not hum cancelling there. So we can see very clearly and very quickly if this is a circuit that is going to work. Now what we might do is that we will take off, let's take off one of these ground wires. Oops, let's try that again. Click on here, move that ground wire off, and let's do the analysis again. All right, so now we've got a problem. So it's telling us in the middle and in the treble position, pickup 1 is engaged, but in the rhythm section, no pickups are detected. We've removed the ground wire, so therefore we've got an incomplete circuit. So it's telling us that that pickup will not be active. So this is kind of the game-changing feature that I know I've spent hours, troubleshooting a wire up when it's in the guitar, and then you go back to your diagram and you've realized you've made a mistake somewhere, or you've got to unsolder and then resolder wires in different spots, which can take time. But the beauty of this program is that you can do that with the click of a button and see if you've found what your issue was. Okay, let's try a new one, and we'll put a pot in this time. So we'll drag the potentiometer in. You can actually see here we've got a label 3, I think it's 360K. I was playing around with some values before. We can just call that whatever we want. So if we're going to put a single coil in here, we'll call it a 250K. It is just a label, so it actually isn't, as far as I can tell, doing anything with measurements or readings. So we'll put that one in there. We'll bring in a single coil, and we will bring in the jack. We might actually rotate this pickup, so we can right click on that one, transform selection, and rotate. That's the beauty of this rotation as well. Often you'll get a circuit diagram off the internet, which, when you've got your guitar upside down and you're wiring in it, the configuration or the layout's different. So you can really change your layout to suit exactly what the guitar cavity will look like when you are soldering. All right, let's right click, add some leads, and we'll connect them up to the pot. So we'll go there to there. Ground to the back of the pot. Output of the jack, output of the pot, sorry, to the tip of the jack. Move that out of the way a little bit. Then we'll run the hookup wire to the sleeve to ground that out, and we'll do a jumper this time to ground the pot. We'll just need to push this one back. You can see the wire's gone underneath, so we'll right click on that one, transform selection, send backwards. Yes, we do want to do that. And now it's gone to the back of the wire so we can see it visibly. So let's go up to our analysis, see what it tells us. Okay. So one pickup, that obviously makes sense. It's the only one engaged. And it's telling us that the VR1, variable resistor 1, potentiometer acts as a volume control. So it's telling us that this does act as a volume control. When you put in tone pot, so basically the same thing, and put a capacitor off it, it doesn't tell you that it's acting as a tone control, but it does tell you that the capacitor is in the circuit still. Now, one thing I discovered when I first did this as well is that often I'll solder my ground leads to the outside of the pot, so not all in the one spot. So let's just imagine that we soldered something like this, which we would do on the guitar. So that would work because the wires are still connected via the back of the pot. But if we go in here to the analysis, run the analysis, it will give us a message like this, telling us that we couldn't find anything connected to the jack tip terminal, basically because we've got an unbroken circuit here. So you do have to make sure that the ground wires are connected to each other rather than just the back of a pot. Essentially, the pot is just an image that they've created, and it's the terminal points or where the wires connect that is completing the circuit. So if we go back into the analysis, this should then tell us that we are all good to go, which we are. And if we want to change the color of these wires, we can obviously do that. Double click. Let's make the hot one black. Oh, wrong way around. Let's make the, what's that, the ground. Let's make that white. Make the hot one black. And what's that one? Hot. And that one white. So that's a real benefit, just being able to change the color of the wires. We all know that different pickup manufacturers use different colors a lot of the time, so you'll find one diagram that'll be in different colors than the pickups that you've got. And I know I've made quite a few mistakes when I'm soldering up due to that reason. So we can make the colors whatever we like. We can move things around to make it look as neat as possible, or make it messy as well. So that is a real benefit. Okay, I've just put together this Strat style layout. We've just got one volume and one tone just to simplify it a bit, and I'll show you what we can do with a few things here. So firstly, we can rename things. So instead of just having it as pickup or PKP1, pickup 1, we can double click on that and we can change the label. So let's call that neck. We'll change, oh, hang on, wrong one. So neck, we'll change this middle one to middle. And this one to bridge. And then we can do the same thing with the pots as well. So where are we? VR1, we'll make that volume. And we'll make this one tone. Okay, so let's run the analysis here and have a look at what it will show us. All right, I'll just move that out of the way. So it's telling us that in switch position 1, it's telling us that the bridge is the only engaged pickup, which is what we want. And it's saying it's not hum cancelling in position, or say switch 1, but the second position. It's telling us that the bridge and middle pickups are engaged wired in parallel. They're wired in phase, but it's not hum cancelling, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Third position, so 1.3, it's the middle. So the middle pickup is on, not hum cancelling. If there's only one pickup, one single coil, it will say it's not hum cancelling. Obviously, there is nothing else. There's nothing to cancel the hum when there's only one coil instead of two. Switch position 4, we have got the neck and middle position, not hum cancelling. I'll get back to that again. And position 1.5, we just have the neck position. So that's how we can see the 5 positions. But obviously, if we want to wire up a Strat, we would like position 2 and position 4 to be hum cancelling. So let's see what we can do there. All right, let's zoom in on the pickups. Let's zoom in. Okay, so if we notice here that we've actually got an N, so that's the direction of the magnet, so north facing. And if we look at all three at the moment, it's saying north at all three. Now, if we want to have it hum cancelling, we need to reverse the polarity of this one. So if we double click on the middle one, where are we? Coils, single north. We can change that to single south. You can also see we can change the pole pieces to single rod, single rail, Strat to telly. That, as far as I can tell, it's just the appearance. So it's just what it looks like. But obviously, if that's what you're designing, then you want it to look like it as well. So let's click on OK. And that has now changed that to south. So let's run the same analysis. And let's see what it tells us. So position 1, bridge, as we expect. Position 2, wide in phase, which is what we want. And it's telling us now that it's hum cancelling. So our bridge and middle pickups are now hum cancelling. Position 3, middle is normal. Position 4, neck and middle, wide in phase and hum cancelling. So once again, this is one of those other features that just makes so much more of a difference when you can kind of put into the program what polarity the magnets are and what direction, and the analysis can tell you straight away what you need in your circuit, rather than buying the wrong pickups or spending hours trying to troubleshoot when you've already wired everything up. Okay, so there's our demonstration of what single coil pickups might look like, and we might now look at some humbuckers and look at how a push-pull pot can be incorporated into this program. I think I forgot to mention here that you can see on the tone pot I've put a capacitor in. It's just labelled as C1. If we double click on it, we can put in a value. So we've got the drop down sort of menu there. We can put in the values what we want and change it. Once again, that is just what it looks like on, as far as I can tell, what it looks like on the diagram. It's not sort of calculating anything as such, but I could be wrong. As I said a number of times, this is a pretty new program for me to be using. And when we run that analysis, we'll just have a look again. So we can see here it's telling us C1. It is in the circuit. So C1 here, C1 here, the third position C1, 4 and 5 C1. So because it is being mentioned in the analysis, it is in the circuit. If we had not connected it in the right way, as far as I can tell, it wouldn't be showing up there, and we would realize that we would have a problem with it. Okay, now let's skip back to the humbuckers. Okay, so I put in the humbucker here with a jack already, and we'll put in a push-pull pot. We'll have to actually make it first. I'll just show you with the pickup covers what we can change. So we'll double click on that one, and we can change the type. So mini filtertron, which will just change the appearance of it, and the pole pieces as well. So you're going to have a bit of fun playing around with that as well. All right, back to the pot. So let's put it in. We'll put this one in here. We'll change it to 500K. Just so it looks right. Okay, so let's bring over the mini toggle switch. We'll just bring it across there and place it where it would be as if it was a push-pull pot. What we can do, if we double click on it, you can change the type. You can see there we've got quite a range of options there. So whatever you would need for your circuit, you can choose. So let's go back to, that was the one that we want. That one there. Now if we join those two together and right click on it, transform, where are we? Transform. And we can group the selection. So basically now if we move that around, it's like we've got a push-pull pot. So let's connect it up. We will join, where are we going? So I've already put the ground on. we will, where's this going, our hot there. There's obviously a few different ways you can wire these up, but we'll just go with this. Let's put in hookup wire. So we've got that, and then what we can do, the hookup wire and the jumper basically does the same thing, so it just depends on what it looks like. So let's just put in that one there. I'll have to push this one back. Send backwards, yes. And let's connect some grounds. We'll use a wire this time. Okay, so let's sort the grounds out. We actually might put that one back too. We'll put that back on the back of the pot. That might make a bit more sense. And, oops, not that one. Here we go. Connect that one there. Okay, so now we should have the pickup in full humbucker mode when the switch is in one position with these two wires connected, and with the switch in the other position, the two middle wires are going to ground, so being taken out of the circuit. So let's do our analysis to see if it tells us that. Okay, so switch on, pickup one's engaged, that makes sense, there's only one pickup. Humbucker mode with series coils, it's telling us here that the VR1 pot is a volume control. Pickup coils in phase, hum cancelling, obviously it's a humbucker, so it makes sense that it is hum cancelling. In the other position, engaged, and it's telling us here that the pickup is wide in coil split mode, volume as well, etc. Saying not hum cancelling because we've only got one coil essentially in operation there. So once again, another brilliant little feature that will tell us or confirm when we've done our diagram if it's wired up correctly for a coil split or full humbucker mode. And obviously I've just shown this with one humbucker, but with a toggle switch with, you know, push-pull pots on volume and tone, it would work exactly the same way as well. One last thing to show you before we finish up. So remember that I'm really just scratching the surface of what this can do. So down the track I might do some more videos about this program when I've made a lot more progress on it. But this diagram that I've got at the moment is for an upcoming build, which is probably going to have the most complex wiring in it that I've ever done. And this is really just the start of it. So a few extra features that I've put in. We've got this title block. So I think in this building block section in the menu, the title blocks just look like that, and you can edit it in and out, which I've already done. And I think that's where someone else has contributed to creating those. So that's one thing I've done there. And also the bill of materials, which is one that's in the program. So you can see here, it gives me the components, what I've got and what I would need to purchase for this particular diagram. But the last thing that I wanted to show you, obviously it's good and well having it on your computer, but it's much better having a color printout when you are wiring it up. So the last thing, once you've got a circuit that you've designed and tested and analyzed in the program and know it's working, you can go up to File and Export to PDF or PNG, and then it will give you a nice single page PDF document for your file that you can print off to use. And there we have it there, a PDF. Let me zoom in of our completed diagram. So I hope you found that useful, and I know I'll be using this program for every single guitar build from now on. Now, since I only discovered this program a few weeks ago, I've still got a lot to learn, and maybe you've already had some experience with it. So leave a comment if you've got any tips or tricks for how to use this program even better. Now, I've got quite a complicated build that I've just started on. in terms of pickups and electronics. So I know that I'll definitely be using this program for that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.